What is up, everybody? Today I'm going to be reviewing the Major Holiday Palette from Patrick Ta. This is a special holiday launch. We're going to be doing some swatches. We're going to be doing some demos. I want to see what the blushes look like on the cheeks, what each glitter looks like on the eyes. And you're probably wondering just how intense these glitters are. We're going to be doing some comparisons. I want to see if they are as glittery as something like a Pat McGrath special shade. I also want to see how they compare to the Makeup by Mario Ethereal palette glitters. Also, did you guys see, oh my god, this is the most beautiful packaging, the Charlotte Tilbury holiday release. I want to see how these glitters compare to these glitters. And also, I am curious to see how the glitters compare to his previous palette, Major Dimension 2, the glitters over here. So we have a lot to get to. And then at the very end, I'll be giving you my final thoughts. And let me tell you, I have mixed feelings about this palette because despite their popularity, I'm not into cool toned pink blushes. So I want to see what they look like on my face. Let's get started. The palette retails for $65. I really like the packaging. I like the fuchsia color. I don't like that you can see the fingerprints, so it starts looking dirty really fast. This is the box that it comes in. The shelf life is 12 months, and it's described as a limited edition face palette that gives you sparkle, shimmer, and a festive glow. Also, it's worth noting that all of the shades in here, the blushes and the glitters, are brand new to his line. So these are not repeats. It comes with 2 sets of blushes and 4 pressed glitter eyeshadows. If you're not familiar with his blushes, they come in a compact like this. We have the cream under this protective lid flap here, and the powder. I like that he gives us the plastic lid again to keep the creams protected, but I had a mishap with the glitters getting into the cream. I'll tell you about that later. Let's get started with the swatches. I'm going to start with this pale pink color. It's called Giving I Need Her, and it's a cotton candy pink. It feels very emollient, very wet, and I'm not seeing a lot of pigment in this one. All right, let's move on to the powder. This powder seems to have more pigment, definitely more pigmented than the cream. Now let's do this shade. It's called Giving Main Character, and it's described as a bright rose mauve. And wow, this cream really packs a punch here. Extremely pigmented compared to the first one. Okay, let's see what this powder looks like. Okay, this is incredibly pigmented. So this is what they look like. All right, so the first one, this is the copper. Very pretty. Let me just build it up some more here. Then we have the lilac shimmer. Oh, very pretty. Okay, so this one has a more like translucent base compared to the first one. And now we're moving on to the champagne. And this one has even more of a translucent base. So far, I would say that this looks like very much like a topper, even though they're all toppers. Patrick, in one of his Instagram posts, described them as precisely toppers. This one, well, this is the white one. You see how powdery that is? So the formula is definitely different. Oh, wow, okay. So this one definitely offers the most coverage. Now we're gonna jump into the demos, but just in case you haven't seen Patrick's Instagram post, I want to play it just so that we hear about how he envisioned us using the blush.
I Need Her, you guys are very pigmented. I wanted you to be able to create that like ombre effect, so using a lighter shade blush, just like more so like towards like your under eye. I'm just using my dual-ended blush brush. This is Giving Main Character, very pigmented, you guys. Just putting this just like right onto the apples of the cheeks, not really like underneath the eye. This is gonna give you the most beautiful diffuse blush effect. Look how stunning that is. I'm gonna go in with the cream. I'm just gonna go in with Giving I Need Her. And just putting this just like right onto the high points of the cheekbones. You guys see like how?
Let's get started with the blushes. I'm gonna start with the light one. It's called Giving I Need Her, the cotton candy pink. And I'm gonna pop it here in the under eye, just like he mentioned. I don't think it goes well with my complexion. Let me just apply it to the rest of the cheek. Not a fan of the pink under eye. So I do have to go in several times to actually be able to see the color. My face is powdered, by the way. I had foundation and then I I set it with some powder. Normally I would stop here, but I'm gonna keep going just so that you guys can really see the color. I think that's good. All right, let's go in with the cream now. The cream, I'm not gonna put it under the eyes. I'm just gonna put it where I normally apply the blush. I'm following his technique of cream over powder. I do like using the cream on top of the powder because I like the finish that it gives you. It's not a very shiny, sweaty, or super dewy look. It gives you a natural, healthy glow. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And now on the other cheek, we're gonna go in with the brighter pink. This is extremely pigmented. I'm gonna tap it here in the back of my hand. Let's go in lightly. I suggest you build it up slowly because it is quite vibrant. What I'm liking so far is the different degrees of intensity. If you want more of a light wash of pink, you go with this one. And if you want some more intensity, a lot more pigment saturation, then you go with the other one. Okay, let's put the cream on now. I'm gonna just tap it here on my arm first. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let me... Okay, I'm gonna go in with my foundation brush just along the edges. Actually, maybe all over, actually, to kind of tone it down. Make it more of a little bit more of a seamless blend with the rest of the face. And this is where we're at so far. All right, now let's move on to the glitters. Very excited about this. Okay, for the first look, I'm going to use this shade that is described as a rich copper color. I think it has a bit of a shift because you have the copper, but also some pink to it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get his neutrals palette and I'm going to give just a little bit of definition to the eye, meaning start building the shape. Something simple. I'm just going over the crease and deepening the outer V here and under the brow. And I am going to pick it up on a brush first. This is a Refer 28 just to see how well it picks up. Yeah, looks like it's picking up. Let's see how much fallout I get. That is a pretty shade. I didn't put anything underneath. I don't have an eye base. I don't have glitter glue, nothing, and it is adhering with no problem. I have not seen any fallout just yet. I also like that it is not a chunky glitter. It's quite small, quite delicate, and it is giving me that sort of wet effect to the lid. I'm gonna add just a little bit more of the matte out here. And also on the lower lash line, I'm gonna pinch my brush. Okay, I brought you a little bit closer. Now with a pointy damp brush, I'm gonna take that same shade and I'm gonna run it along the lower lash line. Okay, now I'm getting a few specks of fallout, but I think that's to be expected with a formula like this one. I'm also gonna take that same shade and I'm gonna pop it here in the inner corner. And I'm gonna finish off this look with some liner and mascara and I'll be right back. Now I'm back with liner and mascara. What do you guys think? I am loving this shade. I really like the shift that is like pink to copper. I really like that. For mascara, I used my Pat McGrath Dark Star Mascara. Also, if you guys are liking this video, please give me a thumbs up to let me know. Okay. So now I'm gonna do the second eye look. We're gonna go now with the lilac shimmer. And again, I'm gonna take the same cool tones on my Refer 27 brush just to define the crease and give some depth here. The outer corner, the outer third of the eye. All right, and I'm gonna apply it with my finger. For the inner corner, I'm going to take the champagne shade. Now I'm gonna add some dark brown liner to my waterline, and I'm also going to tightline. And I'm taking that same lilac shade and putting it here on the lower lash line. And here it is with mascara. I took off my makeup and I put on the neutral eyeshadow the same way that I did for the previous two looks. Now let's go into the third one. I'm gonna use the Champagne Shimmer. This one is called Mind Your Business. Now, so far, this shimmer is the most subtle, but it still adds a beautiful sparkle to the lid, giving that wet effect. Now on this eye, we're gonna do the final shimmer. This is a pearly white one. Wow, look at that intensity. This is definitely more of a frosty, icy shimmer. And like I said before, this one does give you a lot of coverage. I'm taking my Makeup by Mario E4 brush just to help me get into that inner corner here. I'm back with liner and mascara, and I really like how they both look. They're quite different intensity-wise. This one, the Champagne Shimmer, is the most subtle out of all four, and then the Pearly Icy White, this has the most coverage and is the most intense. Okay, let's get into the comparisons, and I'm gonna start comparing it to the Charlotte Tilbury Holiday Palette. The 4 Patrick Ta glitters are here. I just wiped off half of the swatch so that I could put the Charlotte Tilbury shades side by side. They are pretty much the same, guys. So if you're wondering what the difference is of these glitters between one palette and the other, know that there's very little difference. With the Charlotte Tilbury, you do get 5 glitters as opposed to 4. And the 5th one is this pink one, which to be honest with you looks very similar to the lilac color. It's just a bit more of a pink color. But yeah, if you were wondering if they were any different, if maybe one glitter was gonna be more intense than the other, no, they pretty much give the same effect. Except for this one like pearly white shade that is more metallic than glittery. All right, so let's see. Here we have Patrick Ta. This is where the swatch ends. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the 4 shades. And here are the Marios. That's where the swatches end. Okay, so main differences. Marios don't have any sort of pink or lilac, nor the pearly icy white. It leans more into kind of gold tones, bronzy tones. These two are very much toppers. They have a translucent base. So they both have some champagne goldy tones, but the Patrick Ta does have the pink, the lilac, and the pearly white that Mario doesn't have. Okay, so now we're gonna compare the palette to Pat McGrath. I was really curious to see just the intensity of the sparkles, how they compare. So I have Moonlit Seduction here. This is Mothership 10. And the goal here is just to compare the level of glitter, the level of sparkle. Okay, so now we know that Pat McGrath's special shades do give you more intensity, more of a glittery effect. I think that these from Patrick Ta still have a place. They're still beautiful. You might have an evening out, like an event, not necessarily a New Year's Eve party, where you might want to wear glitter on the eye, but maybe not something as glittery as Pat McGrath. Yeah, these are, I'd call them that they're more delicate compared to these. And now, just in case you're wondering how they compare to his Major Dimension 2 palette, I don't have his first one. I just have the rosy one. Really, the main difference that I'm seeing is that these are more toppers, whereas these are more glittery eyeshadows that do have a base to them. They do offer coverage. But again, these are more toppers. These are meant to go on top of a matte shadow, whereas these, you can just wear them on their own. Okay, so I'm gonna give you my final thoughts. This palette very much encapsulates some current trends with the light pink powder under the eye. That's been very popular. The cool toned pinks for blushes. We've seen tons of those. I kind of had a feeling these tones just don't work for me. I don't like them on my complexion. This whole year we've been bombarded with the cool tone pink blushes and I have resisted. The only one that I do have is from this 10-year-old palette from NARS. It's this shade right here, which I never use. But if you like these colors, I think the quality is fantastic. I really like the glitters. Can this be a coincidence that the glitter colors look pretty much identical to the ones in the Charlotte Tilbury palette. How does that happen? If you have any ideas, let me know. I'm super curious. But yeah, the quality's there. They adhere to the lid very nicely. One thing that I'll tell you not to do. When I first got the palette, I opened it up and it had some glitter here in the mirror. So I went to blow it off and some of the glitter actually got under the plastic flap and onto the creams. So that's why there's specks of glitter in there. And that happened because these 4 shades have like a top layer of loose glitter. So I suggest you take it outside, you perhaps cover the creams with your hand and then you blow on it to get rid of that top layer. Now this palette is currently sold out at Sephora. I hope they restock. I have a feeling they will. And that wraps up my thoughts on this palette. You guys remember to give me a thumbs up if this video was helpful to you. Also, I'm very much looking to improve these reviews. So if you have any feedback, let me know. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.